We've heard a remarkable array. We started the day, with the discussion, with Ari's discussion of CISA 2015. If I'm gonna, if Josh Corman can quote Biggie Smalls, I can quote Iggy Azalea. I want to go back to a world where I've got 99 problems, but CISA 2015 ain't one of them. I'm making Bree hurt. But we've also been through the looking glass. We've been, to the good, the bad, and the ugly. We've had some AI fairy dust, the Wassenaar thingy. That's for Chris Painter out there that Jaya referred to the Wassenaar thingy. Yes. Along with the wombats of muddy dysfunction, the weapons of mass distraction. Yes. We had the Slack heard around the world in the vulnerability management panel. We had several discussions from the Tenable CEO, co-CEO Steve Vance, more AI fairy dust in the AI panel, hackers, hoodies, and code crackers for the cyber force, live free or die hard in the critical infrastructure world. And now we've just been talking about that Hollywood is not, in fact, reality in doing offensive cyber operations. I know that's a shock to everybody in this room. The thing that I want to close with is really thinking forward about some of the things that I see as changes in our cyber environment that are going to force us as an industry, as a policy community to change. That we've got to change the way that we've been doing business and the way that we've been thinking. One of those, the first of those is that, the rules-based international order that we had is dead. And that was actually an anomaly for, the 75, 80 years that we had that was actually an anomaly. For most of human history, it's been the golden gun rule, right? The one with the gold and the guns makes the rules. The one with the resources and the weapons makes the rules. And we're actually headed back into that, much more into that kind of world. The second thing is that the US is no longer perceived as a reliable partner. I just got back from 2 weeks in Europe, and that was hammered home. The US is no longer perceived as being a reliable partner. And everybody is asking the question, why did the older brother suddenly develop bipolar disorder and is no longer reliable to work with? A third is that the locus of innovation and economic development has shifted, right? It has been in the process of shifting. It was abnormally concentrated in the West, in Europe, for a period of time. And now it's diversifying again and moving much more on a global stage. China will take the lead in certain technology areas in a way that we haven't ever seen, at least in my lifetime, for example. And then the last thing I would say is that cybercrime has become intertwined with so many other things and I'm actually guilty of this. I'm very fond of using the imagery of good guys versus bad guys. But the truth is, if you actually start to look at how the cyber criminals are doing their work, a lot of the people actually carrying out cybercrime now, at least at the keyboard level, they're as much a victim of human trafficking as the victims of cyber crimes themselves. And so the narrative that we've been using is no longer quite right. It's no longer so yin and yang, black and white. Now, harder, all of what I've just said makes it harder, but it doesn't actually make it impossible. But it does require us to actually change the way that we think. And I would argue that to deal with the unpredictability when you lack the rules-based order, you have to have greater flexibility. You have to have greater adaptability in how you think about things and not be as, and this is really hard for somebody who's a J on the Myers-Briggs scale, you can't be so enamored of specific processes, right? You have to actually have some flexibility and adaptability. You have to diversify your relationships. You have to have a much greater diversity of input, insight, relationships from around the world. You have to couple that with curiosity and willingness to go out and see what is happening in other places instead of just your own backyard. Where is the innovation happening? Where are the advancements happening? and not come with preconceived notions of where that must be occurring. And then lastly, I would say approaching it with something that this industry does not have a whole lot of, which is humility. We are often guilty, I think, of a lot of hubris. And I think we need to come at our problems with a lot more humility and be willing to learn a lot from a lot of other disciplines and industries that have already gone through some of these changes. So I think if we take that tack, we can actually adapt to the world in which we find ourselves at this point. And so, believe it or not, I actually am an optimist. I think we can do this. It's just a matter of choosing to do it. So with that, bring on the alcohol, I guess. But I do want to say thank you all very much for coming and being with us for the 9th CyberNext DC. It was a great conversation and I really enjoyed it. And I look forward to some of the conversations coming up. Thank you very much.